All right, everyone, get ready for today's deep dive. We're going to be looking at Solidity developers and, more specifically, how much they might be making in 2025. We've got an article from Solidity Academy on Medium to guide us. It's called Solidity Developer Salary 2025, Insights for Blockchain Pioneers. These are the folks building the future on the blockchain, so as you can probably guess, their skills are in super high demand.
Yeah, definitely. And that demand shows up in, some pretty interesting salary numbers.
For sure. Let's jump right in. The article mentions an average salary of $167,580 per year for Solidity developers. In 2025, that is...
Right, and it's worth pointing out, that's just the average. The range actually goes from $60,000 to $250,000. So you're looking at an hourly rate of about $80 on average.
Okay, so we're talking six figures. But what are these companies really getting for that kind of investment? What sets apart a good Solidity developer from a great one?
That's a good question. Solidity developers aren't just coding, they're designing these complex systems. They need to understand blockchain technology really well and design smart contracts that are both secure and efficient. And then they're building dApps that actually solve problems in the real world.
I keep hearing about DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. Do Solidity developers work on those too? Because that seems like a whole other level of complicated tech.
You're right, DAOs rely heavily on smart contracts for their governance and how they operate. A skilled Solidity developer would definitely be key in building and maintaining those systems.
Got it. So it's not just about knowing the Solidity language. There's more to it. What about freelancers? Can they make good money if they're not working for a company?
Absolutely. The article says freelance Solidity developers and consultants can charge anywhere from $31 to $130 per hour, with an average of about 76 uptras.
That's awesome. So even if you don't like the typical 9 to 5, you can still be part of this growing market and have a successful freelance career. But let's talk about why these salaries are so high. What's driving the demand for Solidity developers?
It comes down to the growth of the blockchain market overall. The article projects the market will hit $943 billion by 2032.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But how does that translate to the need for Solidity developers specifically?
Well, think of it this way. Smart contracts are the foundation for lots of blockchain applications, and Solidity is the main language for writing them. So as the market gets bigger and more industries use blockchain solutions, the demand for developers who can build and secure those solutions is going to keep going up.
Right, they're building the infrastructure for this whole new digital economy.
So when we talk about smart contracts, are we just talking about financial stuff, or is it broader than that?
It's much broader. You mentioned escrow before. Yeah, smart contracts can bring that same kind of secure, automated functionality to pretty much any agreement, like supply chain management, voting systems, even digital identity verification. That's fascinating. So they're not just writing code, they're changing how we interact with technology and with each other at a very basic level. That's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and it really shows the level of expertise you need to succeed in this field. The article talks about some of the things that affect a Solidity developer's salary. Location is a big one. Regions like the US, Europe, and Asia Pacific tend to have higher salaries because that's where most blockchain companies and investments are.
Yeah, makes sense. It's all about supply and demand, right? So where you live can affect how much you earn. But what about experience? How does that factor in?
Yeah, experience matters a lot. The article breaks it down like this. Junior developers, folks just starting out, can expect to make around $60,000 a year. But as you get more experience and expertise, you can move up to mid-level roles and make around $120,000. And eventually, senior positions can earn you over $200,000 a year.
So there's a clear path for growth, both in your career and in how much you can earn. As you get better at blockchain, it's not like you become a millionaire overnight. You got to put in the work to learn those skills.
Exactly. And besides location and experience, specialization is another thing that affects salary. The article talks about the difference between core blockchain developers and those who specialize in app development.
So if you're really deep into the technical side of things, you might earn more. What's the reasoning there?
Right. Core blockchain developers are focused on the really complex parts of blockchain, like the architecture, the consensus mechanisms, the security protocols. They're the ones making sure the whole system is strong and reliable, which requires very specific knowledge and skills.
That makes sense. It's like they're building the foundation for everything else. Okay, so say someone's listening to this and they're thinking, this sounds cool, but I don't even know where to start. What does Solidity Academy recommend for people who want to get into this field and stay ahead of the curve?
They stress the importance of constant learning, which is important in any tech job. but especially in blockchain, which changes so quickly. First and foremost, they say you need to keep improving your Solidity skills. The language is always being updated, so it's essential to keep up with the latest changes.
So you can't just get comfortable. You got to keep those coding skills sharp. What else?
They also recommend getting really familiar with Ethereum advancements. Ethereum is the main platform for smart contracts, so understanding how it evolves is key. There are always new upgrades and scaling solutions being added, so if you know about those changes, it'll give you an edge.
It's like anything in tech.
Yeah.
You always have to keep learning and growing. Any other tips?
Their last suggestion, which I think is really valuable, is to contribute to open source projects.
Well, that's a good one. That's a great way to get real-world experience and build a reputation in the community.
Exactly. It's a great way to use your skills, learn from experienced developers, and make real contributions to the blockchain world. And you never know, it could even lead to some cool job opportunities.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win. You learn, you contribute, you network. So to wrap up, if you're interested in blockchain and you see the potential of this technology and you're looking for a career that's both intellectually stimulating and pays well, becoming a Solidity developer could be a great choice. But let's step back for a second. Beyond the technical stuff and the salaries, what excites you about the possibilities of blockchain? What makes you passionate about this work?
For me, it's the potential for positive change on a global scale. Blockchain has the power to change so many parts of our lives, from finance and government to healthcare and education. It's about creating systems that are more transparent, efficient, and fair.
I like that. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about the impact it can have on the world. And we're already starting to see those real-world applications, right?
For sure. From supply chains that guarantee fair trade to secure voting systems that make democracy stronger, the possibilities are really inspiring.
It makes you want to learn Solidity. But speaking of possibilities, let's think about our listeners for a minute. What about you? What excites you about the potential of blockchain? What gets you excited about it?
It's a good question to think about. You might be surprised how many different skills can be useful in blockchain. We've seen artists using NFTs to change how creative ownership works, entrepreneurs building these decentralized marketplaces, even lawyers figuring out the legal side of smart contracts.
Yeah, it's a mix of so many different fields. So if you're listening and thinking, this sounds great, but I don't know anything about computer science, don't give up yet.
Exactly. Blockchain needs more than just coders. It needs people who think creatively, problem solvers, people who can build communities, and people who can connect the technology to real-world problems.
Right. So maybe you're a great communicator who can explain complicated things in a way that everyone gets. Or maybe you're a designer who can create easy-to-use interfaces for dApps. There's a place for everyone.
Absolutely. The important thing is to be curious about this space, be willing to learn, and have a passion for exploring the unknown.
This deep dive has been awesome. We got a glimpse into the world of Solidity developers and the future of blockchain. But we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to learn out there.
And the cool thing is, you don't need to be an expert to start exploring. There are a ton of resources available online, from simple tutorials to really technical documentation.
And don't forget about the community. Connect with other blockchain fans. Join forums online. Go to meetups or conferences. You'll learn so much from other people who are on this journey with you.
Yeah, for sure. We've only just started today, but hopefully this deep dive has made you curious and inspired you to take your own next steps in the blockchain world.
Absolutely. So keep learning, keep exploring, and who knows, maybe we'll see you at a blockchain conference someday, sharing your own awesome ideas and shaping the future of this incredible technology. Until then, happy diving.